Hey guys, I am absolutely 100% itching to get to making some great content, communicating some incredible truths, and so I'm learning all these different avenues to do it. You can post, I guess, on YouTube. You can go live. You can do shorts. I don't really know how to do that yet. But I thought I would go live. I don't know if, since I never do that and I haven't really done that much, if anyone will be on when I'm live. Maybe someone will watch it later. But anyway, I'm getting excited. I've got some great ideas for format, and I'm going to share some of that stuff coming up soon. It's going to be fun. And before the end of this week, I'm going to make a longer video and get started with my introduction. At least that's my plan to the Psalms. But in the meantime, I thought I'd go live. I'd check out this feature and see how it works. And, you know, for production value, I thought I'd do it while I was driving. I am kind of a busy guy, and I run around doing lots of things. And so I thought I'd just kind of take you with me on a little journey that I'm on. I'll tell you a little bit about what's behind it since I got a little drive. I'm driving downtown Columbus, kind of in the middle of rush hour in my big old Dodge Ram. It's a pretty old truck, and it's going to be noisy, but I kind of thought that actually might be a little bit fun. If the sound is terrible and this works out bad, I apologize to everybody in advance, but I thought it would be at least worth a try. I kind of like the life and the action of everything moving around me, even the noises and the moving of the truck, and I kind of get into that. So you might not as much as I might. So anyway, I'll try to be as safe as possible and bring you along on this trip. So the Bible teaches us that the role of a pastor, and there's a whole list, you can read about it in the book of Ephesians. Paul makes a list of the gifts to the church, and one of them is a pastor, and that's what I am. The purpose of a pastor is for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. And I could get into a deep theological discussion about it and use some big words, but what I really want to do is kind of explain to you what that means. The role of a pastor is not to do everything in a church, not to be the church. He isn't the church. He's there to help the church, okay? He is there for the perfecting or the maturing, not perfecting as in, let's try to make everyone perfect, or even try to be perfect myself. But that word perfecting basically means the maturing. Okay, so if you had children, the perfecting of your children is helping them grow up. They're born and they live lives. As they grow, they mature. It's our job to teach them. And a pastor is the same way. The life of Christ and the walk of God is a progressive thing where you grow through it, and you start off as Peter says it, as newborn babes, desiring the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. That's what he says in I believe it's 1 Peter 2:2. But Paul, as he was addressing the Hebrews in Hebrews chapter 5, he said, you get to this place in your life, it's at the end of chapter 5, he said you get to this place in your life when you should be teaching, that you need someone to teach you what are the important things, about serving God and building the kingdom. So anyway, the job of a pastor is to help the perfecting of the saints, or the maturing of the saints, okay, so that they can do the work of service or the work of the ministry. The church is a body of believers, all of them having different gifts, talents, abilities, desires, and we're not all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to work toward the same purpose, and that is God's kingdom coming on earth as it is in heaven, right? That's what we pray for, right? In the prayer where Christ taught them, "Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom," what? "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth." And if you're out there, you can say on earth. You might have even missed that. "Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven." So that's really what the church is doing. It's trying to bring about the kind of life that we're going to live in heaven, and that it is before the throne of God, where everything goes according to the way that God, to God's law. That's what we would like here. We would love it if everyone loved their neighbor as themselves. We would love it if people were kind, if they told the truth, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so let me get back to where I'm going and what I'm doing. The job of the perfecting of the saints is to find out what God has called the people in the church to do, and to help them to do it. And so that's one of my great pleasures as a pastor, is finding out their gifts. So there was a man who showed up at our church a few years back, and single man, and he would come, and then every time he would come, he came by himself. Nobody invited him. He just showed up. He would before the service was really over, at the very end, he would just leave. And we kept seeing him, and we kind of wondered, who is this guy? What's this guy doing? And one day, as we were ending the service and praying, I saw he was taken off. And so while we were praying, I asked someone else to pray, and I kind of chased him out to his car and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And said, "Hey, you've been coming, and I've been seeing you come and leave." And he said, "Oh, I didn't know I could stay. I know you guys were going to take communion together in your church, and I didn't really know if that was really for me or not, and so I was just being respectful." But anyway, that's how we met him, and he's been a part of our church for a long time, several years now. And before we ever met him, I learned this recently, I didn't know this for a long time, but God had put it in his heart to start a bit of a school. He wanted to be a blessing to people who were maybe homeschooling their kids, who had trouble teaching like high-level subjects like like math, algebra, calculus, trigonometry, stuff like that. He's also a programmer, and but he was a former professor or teacher. I don't know what the proper terminology for what he exactly was at the time, but at a college, I believe in Kentucky, teaching math and that kind of thing. Anyway, he's been at our church for several years, and he has begun teaching these classes, and he started teaching some math, and then we had a bunch of kids in the class, and since he knows how to do computers, he's also doing that. He's teaching them how to take apart a computer, put it back together. He may even be doing some programming. And during the process of all these things, the Lord blessed us with a new building. Since we started the church in the year 2000, the Lord has been kind enough, and you may think I'm being a little silly by saying I can't remember, but it's true. I can't remember, but I believe God has given us 6 buildings that we did not have to pay to use. Some we were given to use, some we were given outright. And recently we were given the use of an elementary school, and before that had been a high school. It's a big school, 28,000 square foot school and 11,000 square foot gymnasium. And so I didn't realize it, but this young man, I say he's a young man, I mean he's in his mid-30s, kind of his dream and calling was to one day help kind of have a school, and so we have it. And so, never despise the day of small beginnings. We have a little guild, which he's called it, and he's got curriculum. We're getting ready to start some new class. Is going to start writing, going to start Spanish, going to start wisdom literature from the books of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. But hey, I mentioned getting a building. I'm actually driving downtown. I don't know how easy it will be to see this, but I'm going to show you a building that used to be our building, if you can see it, okay? So it's a big brick building. I'm driving past it now. I'm going to try to turn the camera. I don't know if you can even see it. I'm going to try, see if you can see it. Can you see that? The big brick building there? Wow, that was a little scary. I don't know if you saw it or you didn't see it, but downtown Columbus in what we call, well, what everyone in this town, or a lot of people, at least the people from this area, call the Bottoms. The Bellows Elementary School is what it was called. But anyway, so this building, we are fixing it up. We're cleaning it up. It was a functioning school all the way until 2014, and then it was sold. And I really, really, really wish we'd have bought it, but apparently that was not in the plan for us. But we made friends with a guy who owns it, and he's a Christian man, and he's been very kind, and he lets us use the building, and we've got a long-term lease with him to do so, and it is a complimentary lease. So anyway, where I'm going right now is I'm headed somewhere, and I didn't know how long it would take me to explain what we're doing. So I may hang out with you for a little bit to show you where I'm going and what I'm getting. And I don't know if I'll make it that long or not. I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth all the drama of finding out where in the world is Mark going and what is he getting. Well, okay. So, I will tell you, I'm going to a thrift store. And, it's wonderful to have people in your life to help you. And the people closest to me in my life, when they know what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do, they always jump in and get in on the action. And so we were running around as a crew today, and we went by this thrift store for the express purpose of the work that we're doing. We are outfitting this building, and we're doing all kinds of things. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll tell you a little bit about our plans and what we've already done with it and what we are hoping to do in this building, and then I'll keep you with me all the way till we get to our fun discovery, which has led me on this errand this evening. And yeah, going live, I guess you can't get a phone call in the middle of it, so I guess that's what just happened there. So so you don't interrupt your stream. So, all right. So we have been really connected to immigrant populations, and we haven't done as much as we would like yet, but we can sort of see the handwriting on the wall, as they say, of what the Lord is doing. I have since late 2012, early 2013. Been working, and the people that we work with there are a particular people group. We work with anybody there, anyone that is there. We certainly would bring them the gospel or bring them medicine or food or whatever, which is what we do as a part of an organization we started called Mission to Myanmar. Most of you who know me already know this, but if you don't, I'm going to be doing a short video explaining what it is for a little backstory. That'll be posted pretty soon. But anyway, we work with a very particular people group very closely, and they're called the Chen. The Chen are mountain people, and I won't get into all of what they are, but when we started working in Myanmar, we found there's about 100 different groups, people groups, and different languages in that country. And the main one that we've been really connected with is the Chen. So the Chen, I found out after working all these years, and I actually wrote a book. I wrote a book called Myanmar Gold. Myanmar is spelled Myanmar. Myanmar Gold is the name of my book that I wrote. But anyway, as I was writing the book about the work I do there and the lovely people that I met, and very, very thankful we're able to bring doctors, veterinarians, teachers. We brought an engineer to just help them, in their regular life, the things they need. Anyway, wow, it's kind of getting warm in here. I'm going to crack this window. But anyway, we work with the Chen. Oh, and so I didn't realize it until somewhat recently that I was working with them. I'm actually writing the book, and one of the members of our church tells me, he said, "Hey, I think I met a Chen man." Now, most people would not know what a Chen man was, even if you saw one. And I've been to Myanmar 10 times, I believe. And I know a lot of Chen people, and so I might even miss one. So it's not like they're so characteristically exactly one thing, but anyway, so I didn't believe him, really. And I ended up calling this guy and meeting him, and found out that he was the pastor of a church of Chen people about 15, 16 miles from my house that had 1,000 members. And I found out that the Chen happened to live in our community. I would have never known. I mean, I traveled 9,000 miles around the world to these people in a country I'd never even heard of to meet one of the people groups there. And what I ended up is finding out that they live here, and in a school district not far from where we are. They're the number one minority. I mean, they beat out every other. And so these Chen people are here by the thousands. We found out there's over 100,000 of them here in America. In one group around Indianapolis, there's a church there that has 10,000 members. But this has led to us working with other immigrants, and it's kind of a longer story, which I probably can't necessarily get into, but it's been kind of fun. So we ended up, through the Chen people, which we work with here in America, forming an organization called the Chen Heritage Foundation. We're working on putting together a museum, believe it or not, in Iowa, which we're in the beginning stages of working on that, and publishing some books about them, about their history, about the missionaries that brought the gospel to them. So anyway, that's that. So that led to us. We were at a medical missions conference in Louisville not too long ago, and while we were there, we met these people called the Nepalese Bhutanese people. And they said, "Hey, you work with the Chen people in Myanmar. We're from Nepal, and we know there's a lot of refugees and immigrants here in the United States. And so we heard you work with the immigrants that are Chen that are here. Maybe you would consider working with the people from Nepal." So I'm kind of a nut, and I said, "Well, sure, no problem." So anyway, So we did that. Well, I come to find out there are 60,000 Nepalese people in and around the Columbus area that were brought here. And that's kind of a really long story of how that happened, but they were intentionally brought here by our government. They're called, okay, this is my quick explanation, and if I get it wrong, please don't, hate on me too much out there. But there was like a civil war in Nepal, and this is once again a rudimentary explanation of this. A civil war, and a group of the people from Nepal got taken and put in the country of Bhutan, which is close by, and they did not integrate. They were very, very into their own people group, and the people in Bhutan wanted them to integrate, but they would not. They wouldn't wear the clothes. They wouldn't change their lifestyle. they wouldn't learn the language, and so they ended up. Eventually, they were there for years. I may have been as long as 20 years in kind of like camps in their country, and then they sent them back to Nepal. But then Nepal says we can't really take them. You know, they recently had the big earthquake there, and so the United States government agreed to take these people who had really nowhere to go and bring them to the United States. And for some reason, they picked Columbus, Ohio as a good place, and there's a huge community. Most of them are Hindu, but there are about 1,200 Nepalese Christians here in the Columbus area, and we met some of them and danced with them at Christmas time and had a big time. Ate some of their spicy food. Oh my word, their food's so spicy you just instantly start sweating. And I know I guess it's a longer drive to this place than I was thinking, so I guess I'm just going to keep talking. So I guess when a live thing, you can stay with it or not. So anyway, I'm telling you about these immigrant populations because it seems that we are working with them here in the United States. It was really never a plan. It was not like, oh, let's do this. We did a study and there's a demographic or whatever. No, the scripture says that we're supposed to help strangers. Widows, orphans, and strangers. And these strangers, these immigrants from other countries, which in the Bible, that's what a stranger is. It's someone from another country who doesn't know the custom, doesn't know the language. And the reason why Christians are supposed to be kind to them and help them is because we need to remember that we're strangers, okay? The children of Israel were strangers when they came to Canaan. We as Christians are strangers and foreigners. We're fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, but this world is not our home. So anyway, these immigrant folks that we've been meeting and talking to, every now and then they have these certain needs, and so we want to help. One of the needs that we've learned about recently is citizenship classes. The whole COVID thing really wrecked the citizenship classes, and a lot of these folks have been here long enough to where they really need to take their citizenship classes, but they don't have a place to do it. And so we're looking into that. We're looking into helping them sort of discover their historical past, their connection to Christianity. The Chen people, we have helped them to figure out who their Christian forefathers were that brought the gospel to them. We republished a book about the family, the Carson family, the Arthur and Laura Carson family. The book we published is called Pioneer Trails, Trials, and Triumphs, the story of Arthur and Laura Carson among the Chen. That book was out of print, and I discovered it when I was doing work on my book, Myanmar Gold. And I know these are a lot of things. If you don't know who I am and you don't know anything about these books, maybe I'll put some links in here. I can see there's going to be a lot of need to do that. But Foundations of Grace Publishing, which is our little publishing company, sells these books. And our missions organization is called Mission to Myanmar. And the thing we're doing here in country with the Chen people is called the Chen Heritage Foundation. So, wow, that's a lot of stuff, even to just talk about in a little live video. But, hey, I got to occupy some time while I'm driving down the road. So I'm almost at my exit. And maybe I'll have to just make a follow-up video or something, because I feel like there's a little too much drama. I was watching a video recently, and this guy, he got... someone out there is sending me a message saying that you enjoyed my book, Myanmar Gold. I'm glad you did. I would tell you the feedback I got from my book was incredible. From a marketing standpoint, I think naming a book Myanmar was probably not the smartest idea, since the first time I heard Myanmar, I myself didn't even know where it was, didn't really know what it was, didn't know it was what is now, or has been known and still actually referred to now mostly by people as Burma. And it's a country nestled right between Thailand and Laos and China to the north, India to the west, and the sea, the Indian Ocean, to the south. It's kind of right there in southeastern Asia. So we hope to be able to help in any way we can encourage the Chen Christians and the Nepalese Christians here in our area. Oh, and there's another people group. There's another people group that are African. God sent us some former missionaries to a people group called the Fulani. And the Fulani are African, predominantly Muslim. And we work with, when I say we do, I mean people I am very close to and people that I'm with on a weekly basis. And we hope to even be a part of blessing them in our, on a regular basis, if possible, at our church. These Fulani, there are not a lot of Fulani. I believe there are only about 300 of them here in the Columbus area, so not a ton of them. But anyway, so it just seems that God keeps calling us to deal with people. And as far as my history goes, it is kind of how things started with me. I grew up in the country in south of Columbus. And when I was young, it was the time of and I don't mean this to be at all insulting or derogatory to any of my good friends that I made during that time, but they called them boat people. And they were people who, and I don't really know what was going on in that time period that caused a great influx of people from Thailand and Laos and Vietnam, Cambodia, to come to the United States. But I was in a real country school. And at our country school, all of a sudden, there appeared, these people. And they became my friends. I don't know what it was, but I was just intrigued by them. My school was a part of an Air Force base, and I was around a lot of people from different countries, but I'd really never talked to indigenous peoples. So these guys from the air base, they were always going and coming from this country and that country, to my school. I went to a school off of Rickenbacker Air Force Base in the Columbus area here. Anyway, but these kids, they came to school, and I ended up bringing them to church and converting some of them to Christ from Buddhism, and really just loving them, really. One of my cousins actually married one of them, and so I am related to, by family, some of those people too. I loved them. They were hardworking. They'd all live in one house, and they would go to school, and then after school they would earn money together. One of the ways they earn money, some people look down on them for it. For me, honestly, I looked at it like, whoa, these guys are very, very, very hardworking. They would pick night crawlers. They would go and they would water lawns, or they would wait till it was summer and it rained, and they would pick jars and jars and jars of night crawlers. In fact, we'd watch them do it, and we'd see how much money they made, and we were like, maybe we should do it. We'd get our little headlamps, and we went out there and started picking night crawlers, trying to be like them. But anyway, they one after the other bought a car, and they had I think one of them had a brand new Camaro, a big red Camaro. But they bought new cars, and they lived like with an uncle, and they treated him honorably. They invited me over. I ate food with them, hung out with them, took them to church, taught them what I knew, and became friends with them. And so that was, I was probably 14, 15, 16 years old during that time, meeting them. And then I met a group of girls. These were boys from Vietnam. And then we met a group of girls who were from Thailand, and learned some of their language and their culture. But since that time in my life, I've just really had a great love for people of other countries, and a great empathy for what they're going through, and a great admiration. It really, there's nothing like giving you a perspective on what you have by seeing someone who sees it as wonderful. They're like, America is so wonderful. It's the land of opportunity. It's a beautiful place. It's amazing. And they would tell me about the hardships of living in their country. So anyway, it seems that God is calling me and my family and our church to minister to the people of these immigrant groups. If you know about it, and if you know some of them, or I'm interested in learning more. I actually have met some Somalian people. In fact, one of the most beautiful women I ever met in my entire life opened the door, and she was Ethiopian, and she was like a painting, really. I've never seen anybody that looked like that. Did not even look like a real person, just amazingly beautiful. And so I just love them. I love those people. I love to talk to them. I love to hear, tell me about your journey, how you got here, and I love them, and I want to help them if I can. I'm not thinking, I need to help them because, they're not, they're unable to do things. No, I mean, just, it's hard. It is difficult, I've been to lots of foreign countries, and it is difficult, to understand the law, the language, the customs. And sometimes you just need someone to explain to you what in the world is going on. How in the world do you do this, or how do you do that, And so helping someone get a driver's license, or apply for a job, or deal with a traffic cop, or whatever, it's a big, big deal. And it's really not that hard for us to do, but for them it means a whole lot. Sometimes the things that we do for people, they don't really have to be any big thing, but I will tell you, these things lead to big things. They really do. They lead to relationships sometimes that last a lifetime. They lead to love, a lot of love. The Apostle Paul was talking about one of the great blessings of being in such need and being able to bless the church. He was doing an offering I believe it was in the book of 2 Corinthians, he was doing an offering for the church at Jerusalem. And he was saying, one of the benefits of providing help for these people is that these people will pray for you. And I guess, unless you don't believe anything happens when you pray, he said, these people love me, they appreciate me, they treat me with kindness, and they pray for me. And, I could use all the prayers I can get. And the amount of love that I have gotten, and the amount of kindness in return, has been many manifold more than I've ever had to give. I thought, at times that, giving was a great sacrifice, only to find out, hey, give and it shall be given unto you. And pressed down, shaken together, running over, so shall men heap unto your bosoms blessings that you're not able to contain. And you know what? It has really been our life. There are literally so many good things God wants to do for us that they almost wear us out. That is an absolute truth. So anyway, I am up here. We're trying to outfit this school, whether it's going to be for citizenship classes or whatever in the world it's going to be. We're going to need some place, and I'm getting closer. I'm maybe I've already passed it. Maybe going live while I'm trying to find something is not the way to go, but I don't know if I'll ever do this again, or I'll do it all the time. I don't know. But there is this place that we were up here, and this thing that we found was such a blessing, but it was too big. It was too much to get it and to put it in our van. And we had a big van, so I needed to go home. Here we go, and get my pickup truck. So here we are. I am rolling into the Morse Road Goodwill store and donation center here. And pulling in, and I'm going to go over to the loading area because we asked him. We said, "Now listen, can you leave stuff at the thrift and come back and get it?" And so they understood that it was a lot. So anyway, this video is probably going to end here very shortly. If you're waiting, if you've hung out this whole time and the suspense has been killing you, what in the world did they get for the school building? What did they get that can help the immigrant population? What did they get to help them refurbish the big giant school gymnasium thingy bob? What did he get that they had to take a truck and drive all the way across town and spend 35 minutes doing it and talking to me? Well, you're going to find out in just a second. And so when I find out, I'll film it, and that should be the end of that. And I can't believe that this is working like this so easily. Howdy, howdy. I'm here to get those deals, the desks, chair desks. Holy mackerel. Yeah, that definitely is it.
Pull your car over here.
Pull my car?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not fitting out this door. I don't know what you're doing.
Wow, I don't know, whatever they did, that's pretty wild. All right, well, this is going to be something else. This is not like some little thing. It's kind of a big thing. But he just told me to pull over here, and I think, unless he completely undoes it, you're going to get a kick out of this. Every school needs a few desks, and they made sure nobody could get them, right?
Put it this way. You got a match?
You got a what? A match?
Take the tape off.
All right. Oh, no, I'm going to need some. What these are wooden desks or wooden chairs with the desk already on them. And they've made them in a big giant ball, which is going to take a little bit of work. Are you guys willing to help me?
It's our job, so yeah.
All right.
I'll watch him.
Thanks for hanging out with me for this trip up here to get these. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you as we go through the Psalms, and I do some fun videos for you. All right. Bye.